Hi, I'm Amy Riolo. Today we're making homemade tomato sauce. The first ingredient that we'll be using is 1.5 pounds of strained tomatoes. Strained tomatoes are known as passata di pomodoro in Italian, and they come in two varieties here in the US. You can get them imported in a glass jar or in a little box, and I really prefer to use both of these kinds of strained tomatoes or tomato puree because they don't have any preservatives in them or no added salt or artificial flavors, so they're very good. It's just an authentic tomato pure flavor that is great for this sauce. We'll also be using a little bit of salt and pepper, 4 to 5 basil leaves, 2 tablespoons minced garlic, and 2 tablespoons extra virgin olive oil. And to get started making the tomato sauce, the first thing that we're going to use is our 2 pieces of equipment. The only thing we'll have is a medium saucepan and a wooden spoon, and make sure that the saucepan has a fitting lid. That's all that we need, and we can get started by putting our pan on over low heat, and then we're going to add our olive oil. And as soon as the olive oil is hot, we can start adding our garlic. You can kind of tell when the olive oil is ready because it starts to coat the bottom of the pan and it starts to get a little bit of a ripple effect. And you'll also start to smell a little bit of the aroma. That's how we know that our olive oil is ready. We don't want to heat the pan in advance and get the olive oil really hot for this because we want to allow the garlic flavor to come out slowly. So this is ready. This is what the hot oil looks like. And we can add our garlic. And then we'll just stir this around for a minute. It's really important when you make tomato sauces to be careful not to burn the garlic or not to let the garlic have any brown color. Because what happens when the garlic turns brown, it tends to get very acrid and it has an acidic taste that you don't want in your sauce. You want your sauce to be nice and fresh and bright and even a little bit sweet. So you don't want to let the garlic get brown for these particular types of Italian sauces. The first thing when you make the sauces, you'll hear the garlic start to sizzle. And then about 30 seconds after it starts to sizzle, you'll start to smell the aroma of the garlic. As soon as you smell the aroma, and this is what it looks like at that stage, so I'm showing you the garlic is still white, but you can smell the aroma, and that is when you're going to add your tomatoes before they get a chance to turn brown. So these are our strained tomatoes again. You can do this with fresh tomatoes. If you're lucky to have really good flavor fresh tomatoes in season, you can just drop them into boiling water for 1 minute. Their skins will start to peel, and then you can put them in cold water, drain them, peel them, and put them through a food mill to get the same kind of consistency that we're using with this passata di pomodoro or strained pomodoros that we're using. We'll add a little bit of salt, as much as you need to taste. Everybody's different, and also each kind of tomato is different. And then a few turns of freshly ground pepper. And we're just going to stir everything in together. And then we're going to add some fresh basil. And these are about 4 to 5 fresh basil leaves, and you can just tear these roughly in your hand. They don't need to be minced. Some people say that it's better to actually do it in your hand because all of the oil, the essential oils from the basil, go right into the sauce and not onto a cutting board. And basil has a nice sweet flavor, so whenever you use it in a sauce like this, it really makes the sauce have a sweet flavor and just the right amount of seasoning, and that's all that you need. But you have to make sure that the basil is good and that it's in season. In the winter, it's hard to get good fresh basil. So what you'd want to do then is to substitute Italian parsley. That's absolutely fine. You may need to add a pinch of sugar in with your sauce, but if you follow this method, you'll be guaranteed success every time. And this is something that everyone does in Italy all of the time. This is a sauce that you can use as a base for pizza. You can use it for chicken parmesan or for eggplant parmesan. And I make it in double, triple, and even quadruple batches, and then I freeze it. And so later on, I have sauce 1 time a week for the whole month if you want to use it on pasta or if you want to use it in one of the other recipes. And we're also going to be making another recipe with this sauce. The pink sauce with arugula uses this as a base. And now, as you can see, our sauce is starting to boil. around the edges. And just when it gets to this point, we want to stir it one last time, and then we want to put the lid on. And we'll turn it down to a simmer or a low, and we're going to let it simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes until it gets nice and thick, and then it will be ready to use and to add to our pasta. So now we get to see what our homemade tomato sauce looks like when it's done. And it really condensed down. You can see it's about a half of its original volume. And we'll just stir it up together. Always be sure when you stir sauces or anything that you've allowed to simmer that you really scrape the sides of the pan and get that in there, because that's the best flavor, is where all of that different taste condense onto the side. It's really, really great, and it adds a lot of richness to the sauce. So don't overlook that part as you're stirring. And so this is our finished product of our basic tomato sauce. And you can do so many things with this sauce. You can cool it and freeze it. It will last in the freezer for up to 3 months. And then you can defrost it in the refrigerator and use it anytime you like. You can add other vegetables into it, like artichokes, peas, spinach, broccoli, and let it cook for about 10 more minutes. It tastes absolutely delicious. But what we're going to do with this sauce right now is we're going to make our pink sauce with arugula.